What's up, guys? Welcome back, everyone. Did any of you watch the World Cup? I mean, the World Cup between Portugal and Ghana. Yeah, by the way, Portugal won. It's 3-2. I just kind of like completed watching the match, and yeah, decided to actually talk with you guys on the stream today. And yeah, we kind of continue from the last session we did, whereby we stopped at creating teams and connecting the team to be working, and also we actually added keyboard events to the app, to whereby our app responds to the keyboard events. You guys were, yeah, let's try this. Yeah, we added keyboard event and it worked before we ended the stream. What else did we do? Let me actually open. I think I have somewhere I was putting down the to-do list, something like that. Okay, yeah, we completed intro to management, state management and architectures, installing block packages, set up block states, and connecting to blocks. So that's what we completed throughout the last session we did, the last stream. Basically, yeah, like I said, let's go ahead and try this one more time again. So I will just tap on Control and A. So Control and D, we turn our app to dark mode. So I will not be touching anything with my mouse. I'll just tap on Control and D, and then our app is now on dark mode. So if I tap on Control and L, our app will be on light mode. Then if you go back and tap on Control and B, our app will also be on black mode. So this is called black mode. And then Control and L is still white mode. Then Control and Auto, we then turn our app to use the current theme my Mac OS is using, because my Mac OS is currently on dark mode. So it kind of like the Control A turns the app to currently be using the same thing with my Mac OS. So yeah, that's basically from our last stream, and the whole stuff is still currently working. Nothing is broken, and yeah, I think we can actually go forward and continue working on other stuff. In this case, we'll be working on adding, let's see, okay, first of all, we'll be breaking down to smaller widgets, so I'm refactoring the code base. So let's do some refactoring right here, because if you guys are, those of you that joined the last stream, you actually remember when I kind of was talking about that we have a whole lot of stuff right in our home page. So in our home page, there are a whole lot of stuff in there that we actually need to fix. I think I actually need to close all this stuff so I can actually know which one we are opening at the moment. So close this from here. You can decide to go ahead and close all editors. That will close all our editors. So go back to home screen, which should be main screen right here. We kind of like say that we have a whole lot of stuff going on here, and our code is looking like a spaghetti code. You can actually see 992 so far, and that's not good. So what we actually concluded with that is that we are going to split our code to multiple stuff. So that's what we'll be doing right now. So let's start off from somewhere. Let's look at where we can actually start with this code refactoring and breaking our code base to smaller widgets. Let's see which one should we first of all take out and move to a different place. This flex right here, we can actually move this to a separate file. Let's see. And then we can also move this home page to a different file also, and then also the settings page, we can actually move that out to a different file too. Let's start with this path. Okay, let's copy all this. We're gonna start with the flex path. We'll just leave the flex and then start with the animated builder. And let's see where this ends. Okay, the animated builder ends somewhere right here. Copy that, move that out, and then go to our widgets right here. I'm going to create another widget called this sidebar. Sidebar.dot. And this is going to be a stateless widget, or we can actually make it stateful. I don't see the reason why we should make it stateful at the moment, but let's leave it as stateful widgets. That's not much different. Okay, so we have stateful widget. You can name this to be sidebar. So this is called sidebar. We are moving this sidebar out and moving it into our stateful widget in a separate widget. Like I said, we are basically focusing on refactoring our code to actually look better and more readable to any developer that's going to come in, maybe use our code or do any stuff. And there we go. So basically delete this path and import material widget. There you go. I just imported material widget right now. It fixed most of the issues we are having. One stuff that is remaining is that we need to pass some parameters right in here. First one will be final animation. This should be animation. Typical Muli, thanks for joining. I'm doing good. How are you doing too? So basically we added the animation, and we're going to use this animation in most of our project everywhere right now, because we're going to pass this prop down from the parents. So we are going to pass a prop down from the parents all the way to the child. So this will be a child to the main screen parent. So let's pass this in here. I'm going to say animation, and then we could just use the animation right in here. There you go. And this should be animation 2 the value, and animation 2 the value. How many animations are we passing in here? Let's see. The settings controller, the forward. Okay, let's see what else we need to do right in here. So I have the animation view. Oh, cool. What are you studying in university? Which university are you studying at, and what course, if you don't mind? So currently right now I'm still thinking of, okay, which one should we move? So we have animation passed in here. I could actually name this to be another animation. Call this sidebar animation. There you go. And then we can use that in place of wherever we have animation 2. Okay, what did I do? I'll just copy widget. Should just be widget dot sidebar animation, then dot value will be this. Next will be animation, yeah, the same stuff. Just copy that, use that in place of whatever we have right in here. Next one, which other one we need to change? Offset needs bottom up animation, and I think that's their way it stops. So we need to pass another one, animation called button up animation. I'm gonna pass that right in here. final animation, button up animation. Add all the parameters that we need right in here, and let's see. So once we added all the parameters, you just need to change this to actually use the param. Okay, we need to call widget dot button up animation, and then we need to go ahead and import this. And once that is imported, we need to import our brand colors folder also. And what else? We need to import debug mode. No, we're not creating a debug mode class. Basically, we need to import this from Flutter Foundation. Oh, that's cool. Okay, the hackathon was it on is busy based on the Linux, is it based on core Linux programming, or robotic kind of hackathon, or yeah, or just a general software hackathon stuff like that. But I wish you luck, I wish you win. And what's the prize for the first runner up, like the first winner or someone that comes up first? Is there any big prize for the person, or just congratulations? I can't actually remember my first hackathon. I think that was 2 years ago. Yeah, during my uni period. Yeah, uni days. Yeah, I did a hackathon, but unfortunately we didn't win. With my schoolmates, we didn't win, but actually we tried a bit. Okay, let's see. So we currently have this right in here, and trying to think out right here. What do we have to do? Okay, we go in here, copy some code that we need. So we need the bar model code. We need all these bars. So we need to copy all this stuff, move it out to a separate file. I think that's much better. Copy that, and then I could come over here inside our core folder, create a new file. I will call this dummy data. Don't know if that makes more, if that's actually better, but let's call it dummy data. Oh, okay, the hackathon is based on general stuff. Okay. You just have to choose a language and do whatever you want, what you guys are asked to do. But which language are you going to go with if you're asked to choose any language? Or you are going to use Dart and Flutter? See, so we have this, so you basically need to import this stuff, import material for the icons. Damn, you okay. In your first hackathon you got to the third place. Wow, that was actually cool. I don't think I've actually got into the third place, to be sincere. I don't think I'm really that good with hackathons, but yeah, I haven't gotten to the third place. If I'm actually to remember, I don't think there's any hackathon I've gotten up to third place, but that was great. $500 for some tickets and promo codes for tech. Wow. Microsoft Azure classes. I think most of the best one here, I will say the Microsoft Azure classes and the $500. I don't know what the promo codes are for. Yeah, but I think the best offer here is the free Azure classes and the $500. I think that's best from the hackathon. Yeah. So just basically import. We're going to go ahead and import the colors, and then export this because we need to export it. Or we could just leave it this way, but I think it makes sense to actually export. Let's see. Maybe have a general file here where I kind of like exports I'll just leave it. Oh, let's just leave it. And then right in here in our sidebar file, I'm going to go ahead and import it because we need the bar models. So go ahead and tap on what we made this a private, so there's no need of making it private anymore, so leave it that way, so I can actually import it from other places. So right in here should be able to import this. Yeah, there we go, that's cool. Just remove the underscore. Basically the underscore in flutter or that kind of like says that your variables are private to the class, so that's why we are having this underline red lines here telling us that there's an error or something like that went on. Then the button index that the user is currently at, can actually have a variable right here for that at the moment. So actually say this should be int button index startup being 0 crossover, and then the rest of the errors are fixed. Just cross this one out, go ahead and save this, and we could just bring this inside our main file, because right now you can see this is empty because we removed this, we removed the sidebar. So let's bring the sidebar back up again to the main file and see if that works, or we are going to get a bunch of errors. But I'm looking forward to getting a bunch of errors because I think we did some stuff wrong. Yeah, but let's see. So go ahead and import this. So it requires animation, our animation right here that says animation controller, animation 2, and let's see. We can actually pass in an animation controller to it. I think we can actually do that right in here. Okay, sidebar animation, which is basically our animation 2 and button up animations. Over here we can just say animation should be controller 2, right? Okay, I think I just comment this out for now, so I can actually take a look at that while implementing other stuff, so I can make, so we don't have to make any mistake. Go ahead and remove this, then take a look right in here. There you go. So we need animation controller 2 over there. We're passing it to the animation. I can actually do the same for what is animation we have. So it needs sidebar animation also. Actually say sidebar sidebar. Okay, we need to import this. Yeah, that was a mistake. Import that. Okay, that thing is fixed, so we can just pass in the sidebar animation, and our sidebar animation should be animation 2 value. So just say animation 2, and then you could just say next one will be button up animation, and we're going to neutralize underscore button up animation. Yeah, there we go. I think that worked. Yeah, that worked fine. So tap on this, it still works. Yeah, that still works. So that, guys, that's how to actually be able to move and create a custom widgets or a custom piece of UI that you want to reuse every other places and make your code base more reusable. You can actually see we converted it to a separate class, and now we reduce our code base, so we can actually reduce it more by deleting some stuff we don't need. We don't need this path. I'll just delete that. Definitely don't need this too. Delete it. There's a whole lot of stuff we don't need. We don't need this one. Just basically go ahead and delete that. Basically we don't need this one also. I could just go ahead. Okay, back to comments. So still on the comments. So the front end, I think front end on this own is kind of like I think that's one of the most creative side of software development. Yeah. Whereby you don't need to think, you are not really thinking about the code, you're thinking more of other stuff, user experience and UI stuff. It's kind of like you have to take the journey one step at a time. It's actually not that easy to grab or be good at it. It always took time to actually be achieved better in some aspect of front end development, depending the development side you are going on. If you are going to mobile development or you are going to web development, depending which side you are going on, you got how to kind of like take it one step at a time. But yeah, for Flutter is actually quite amazing. Is really great on its own. I think that is one of the best tech from Google so far. For Flutter, you can just use it for mobile. If you kind of like want to go to mobile front end, you just use Flutter. But my advice, basically, I always say, if you are going with Flutter, always learn some one or two native development. So let's say you're going with Flutter, just learn it down how to develop iOS natively, or you learn how to develop Android natively. It always comes in handy. Sometimes you can actually be developing Flutter. There are some times you don't some packages or some stuff you need it, but it doesn't exist. There, in that case, you have to use native code. There's a way to import to talk with native code directly from Flutter, and it's called something called platform. I think it's platform event. I've forgotten the name, but yeah, with that API, you can just talk directly with your iOS code or Swift UI code in iOS, or on Android. You can use that API to talk with your Kotlin code or Java code. Yeah. But for Flutter, just learn Flutter, then learn one or two native development. And for web, I think TypeScript is cool, but if you can only go with TypeScript if you understand JavaScript. I'm not saying it's the most, but I think that's actually a good way to actually go about it. Understand JavaScript, then go with TypeScript, or just you want to work on TypeScript only environment. There's some companies or product that only depends on TypeScript. They don't use JavaScript at all. I think that in that case you can just learn only about TypeScript, not JavaScript. But I think it's much better to learn JavaScript than TypeScript. That way. Okay. I think that's good. You already have a foundation. At least you know how to work with UI and UX. You already did something like that. I think you have a good foundation for front end. You can actually bring your user experience and UI skills to that side. It helps a lot. And also in that case, you don't need to be looking for someone to create your designs. You can actually handle that by yourself. That's actually a good skills to have. And okay, so we'll remove the whole code, the unusable code that we have so far, and that can reduce our whole code base to what is 82 right now for the sidebar widgets. But I can actually go ahead and add more, because right now if you tap on any of these, none of them is now calling the settings page, because you still need the settings page to be showing. In that case, I need to pass in a function over here. I'm going to call that final void callback. Void callback. I'm going to call that ontap. I can just add that right there, and it should be required. Once we have that, then we can just call that function right inside here. So that should be called widget dot on tap. There we go. I think that's what we need, and then we can just delete this unnecessary if statement that we print statement that we have there. Now that reduces our code to 78. I think that's much better. Save that. Our UI still works the same. There's no issues, except it's showing some errors that we need to fix. That's because we need to add the untap function right in here and add a dummy function for it at the moment, and that will fix your issue. And we can actually go ahead and restart our app. It's still working, so there's no changes. So if you tap on this, the whole stuff still works, except that we need to call settings controller.forward in here. If you go ahead and save this right now and tap on this, any of this again, there you go. So that still works. That's still cool. But at the end, we kind of like have our whole stuff moved separately to different places, which is kind of increases our that kind of like gives our code base better readability and simplifies everything. Yeah. Sure, you're welcome. Yeah, I actually like the way you're actually asking these questions and keeping the chat sections interactive. I like that. Yeah, just feel free to actually ask questions if you actually have any other stuff you want to learn about. Just throw in some questions on the chat. We can just talk on that all day. I don't mean all day. We can't sleep. Yeah, but at least we can just talk on stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to move this also out. I think that it will actually make more sense to move the whole home page. So this should be this page right here. So I'm going to move it out and move it somewhere else. And we are going to rename wherever it's going to stay. We are going to rename it to views or custom or main view. I think that will make sense. Name it to main underscore view dot that, and then this should be stateful widgets main view. Yeah. I'm actually coding the whole full app in that. Yeah, in Flutter, that and Flutter. Yeah. So basically, that Flutter is both complete, kind of like we say, is a bucket that comprises or that contains both that language, so other stuff to help you build front end for mobile mobile interfaces and mobile apps. But that on its own is a language. So I don't know if you have seen the that lang. No, not that bad. It's basically that homepage or website. So with that language, you can actually do a lot of stuff without going into Flutter. So you don't need Flutter to use that. So that is separate from Flutter to in actual sense. You can use that to build your own back end. You can use it to code up a back end. You can use it to code up a terminal. You can use it to code up a server. Any other stuff you want to do, you can just use that on its own without using Flutter. You don't need Flutter. But if you want to kind of like build for front end, like mobile apps, you need Flutter. Or you can use that and build your own framework for mobile apps. I think that actually makes sense. Yeah. You can use that to do that if you don't need Flutter. So yeah, this is actually that. This is that language homepage. If you want to learn more about that and stuff, you can actually do with that. You can actually see their examples, stuff they're actually done. Yeah, it's actually a cool language to learn. If you want to add more programming languages to the ones you already know, you can just go with it. Let's go back. So right in here right now we have all this running. So I'm going to go ahead here and return a container, and which is an empty container at the moment. It's not that empty. So go ahead and return. Okay, material, import material, and it fix the issues that we're having. Save this, and now I'm going to say use this in our main app, which is right in here, which is going to fix every other stuff. Let's go ahead and import it also. Yeah, we need to import it and make this to be constant. Fix. Okay, make the parent to be constant, and then we can go ahead and delete this code that we have here. We don't need the code anymore. Now that kind of like reduces our app more, even more. Then go ahead and delete this also. We don't need this one. Let's see what else we need to delete that we don't need. I'm just trying to do, we are still on the refactoring, deleting stuff that we don't need in our code base. Yeah, next is to move this. So this is animated builder for presenting the settings page, so we need to move it out of our home page, move it towards somewhere else, and then even if we move it out, we need to break it down also to more stuff. So let's go ahead and move it out. So I'm going to save this, what we have done so far, to make sure that we didn't introduce any bug or errors. Okay, still working. So in that case, I need to move this out. It's called animated builder. It's located inside our flex widget, and inside the flex has a sidebar and this, and inside our stack we have, okay, inside our stack we have the animated builder right in here. Okay, and this shows up with the animation controller. So let's move that. Okay, there we go. Let's move that out. That's a whole lot of, that's actually a big amount of code for this particular view. I think that's better as we are moving the whole stuff out, so you can actually know where stuff is happening. So I will name this settings view, or basically settings page. Yeah, I think settings page makes more sense, or settings view. Thinking, yeah, I'll just name it settings screen. Yeah, settings screen. There you go. Dot, and then return a stateful widget, and the stateful widget is named settings screen, and right in here we are going to return animated builder. Yeah, it's actually a powerful programming language on its own, and yeah, it's quite powerful. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do with it, and so comes, I think, what actually makes it more powerful and more interesting to learn, and a kind of like a very good skills to actually add into your portfolio as a developer in 2022 and 2023, because Flutter itself is growing, and people are adopting Flutter for development. So that is actually good to learn, because if you learn it, you already have Flutter by the side, so you still have that skills added to your portfolio too. So in here I'm gonna say final animation. I'm currently working, so I'm done with studies. I'm not a student, yeah, to be sincere. Yeah, I'm not a student. I'm working full-time, currently full-time on software engineering stuff. Yeah. Okay, over here I say animation, and the animation is called settings. Okay, I'll just call that settings controller, but it doesn't need to be private. Remove the underscore from there. So we added the setting controller. The next one is setting slide animation. It should be this. Create animation somewhere here. Final animation. Call that setting slide animation. What else? Opacity animation. So you also need the opacity animations. Final animation. opacity animation. Okay, that's cool. What else are we missing? Settings opacity animation. Okay, we have another one called settings animation opacity. Oh, come on. Settings opacity animation. So what else are we missing? So we add that. Okay, let's go ahead and add that right here. Final animation, which is basically this, and then we can just add that in here inside our constructor as required properties, and then we can just start filling it up right here. This will be settings. Okay, start with widget dot settings controller. Next, the same with what we have here. Settings slide. That should be widget dot settings slide animation dot value, and widget. That should be widget dot opacity animation dot value. What else? We need to import material. Material widget. Oh, we imported the widget and not material widgets. Okay. And next is basically settings opacity animation dot value. So we need to change this. So that should be widget dot settings. Have we used that? Settings opacity, settings sliding. Okay. Yeah, settings opacity animation. There you go. And what else are we missing? Yeah, bar models 2. So over here I'm gonna go to the top and copy this bar models 2 that we have right in here. Copy it out, copy that, and then move over to the dummy page for dummy datas. Basically our constant datas. I think that's actually much better to name it as constant datas than saying dummy datas. So save this in there. Then you can just go ahead over here and import this bar model 2 data, and then import customs buttons, and then replace all these that we have right in there at the moment. Okay, and then create a button index to start off with inside right in here. I'm gonna say int button index is equals to 0. Yeah, okay, so let's see, is there any other stuff? Basically remove this code, we don't need that. Okay, we need a settings controller reverse animation over here to reverse the animation. So I'm gonna say close settings page should be a function. It should be final void callback close on close tab. Say on close tab. Yeah. Basically add that to our constructor as required params. So on close tab should reverse our animation because that's what we need it right in here. So that should be saying widget on close tab. Basically go ahead and reverse our animation. We are going to still pass that into it. Next stuff that we need to fix is theme changer. Let's go ahead and import all these theme changers and then background color that we need in here. Okay, we see there's some issues that are still visible right here. We need to fix it, but first of all, let's go in here and add our settings page to our app. Okay, that should be somewhere right in here. So we go no, that should be saying settings screen, nice one. These are all functions that are actually required. Let's start with the first one, with the last one, and there should be a function called reverse, and this one should be settings controller, and this likewise the same right in here. The same applies to this. There you go. Go ahead and save that. So there are some issues that are still happening. That's due to what we have right in here is requiring us to create a current index for team index. Sure. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. See you next time. Right to the next one. Let's see. Yeah, create the current index somewhere at the top right here. I'm gonna call that int. This is equals to 0. Close this off. There you go. Okay. Okay, the next errors that we are having is basically due to our block provider not added, so we now need to wrap this with our block provider to actually fix that. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, how do we go about with this? We have positioned widget. Okay, this is flexible. Inside the flexible, we have a stack widget that has a positioned element, which is this. Everything is positioned inside it, and the stack widgets. Because if you open this up, yeah, so we need to get this to be separate. So whenever someone taps on any of this, you can be able to show something different right in here, and not just based on this particular one we have showing up right here. So basically what I need to do is to copy the stack widget that we have in here. Yeah, copy the stack widget out. Let's see where that started and where that stopped, so we can actually know what we are copying and we don't make mistake. Yeah, copy this stack. Okay, this is where it started. Yeah, all the way to this end. So go ahead and copy this. That's all we need. Copy this one and then delete this, and then I need to go to my widgets folder and create right in here. I'm going to say settings view, settings underscore view dot that, and this should be a stateful yeah, we'll just leave it as stateful widget. Settings view, so return okay, so let's go stack and import whatever we need right in here. Bring in material widget to fix most of the stuff that we're having, and this still requires us to create an index, team index. Okay, for now there will be one particular screen at the end there, so that's called settings view. Let's leave it there for now. And then let's see if there's something we are missing. And move this out of here and move it to the next one. And you guys can actually see that this screen right here is limited to the code is not much, whereby you can actually do more. We can actually separate this into a single file also, but I don't think there's need for doing that again, because this won't be going more than this. There won't be more lines of code or code added than what we already have in there. So this place, I'm going to paste the code that we just copied, which is the current index theme, and that's fixed. So I'll go ahead and import all this stuff. Import brand chorus, and then to fix all these errors, basically go ahead and wrap this stack widget, or basically we can actually say it's wrapping the stack widgets, because that we don't need that. So actually let's see, okay, I'm trying to figure out what we need to do right now. We could actually wrap the whole stack, or we just wrap the side that needs it. Okay, I think just go ahead and wrap the whole stack with a builder. So I'm going to wrap with a builder, and the builder type will basically be the same builder that we're using in the main screen. And the main screen is actually becoming shorter at the moment. Once we are done, it should be shorter than this. So go ahead and copy this section and use that as the builder, because right here we are not just using just an ordinary builder. So the builder type is a block builder. Since this is a block builder, I'm going to import block to fix some issues. Flutter block, and then the block to-dos block should be from to-dos, it should be from more there. Yeah, I think it should be from to-dos, and then the context should have something called let's see, the context should be okay, Steam block is what is looking for, not actual builder. So we don't need a block builder right here. Yeah, so just remove this. Yeah, kind of like made a mistake for that section. So we don't need a block builder to wrap our widget. So what we need to do is to get access to the current theme block. At the moment we don't need a block builder in there, but if we need, we are still going to fix that up. It's not much, so yeah, so this is what we need right in there to fix the errors we're having, and this should actually come from flutter block or blocks. Yeah, and then this is from flutter block. I think that's fixed. Let's take a look down below. Then this needs to be coming from models. Is there any other stuff we need to fix? So we need to add this show drop down and all this stuff. Okay, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and start fixing those paths also. Show drop down, we currently have that. I'm gonna remove the theme block because we don't need it somewhere here again. It's no longer needed. Once I delete that, I'm going to go down here and copy the show drop down. It should be inside a util folder. So we're going to create a utility folder for this. Move it out here and create a utility folder. As inside our leave folder, I'm going to call this utils, and inside I'm going to create a file called dropdowns. call this custom drop downs underscore drop downs dot and paste the code that we just copied. Okay, it needs an overlay entry and overlay state. In here, we can actually say, okay, accept something called overlay m3. I think that can actually fix the issue that we're having. Okay, it should have a type overlay entry and overlay state. Let's see if that works. Else, we can actually find another way to fix those issues. So let's say required stuff called overlay state of type overlay state. This should be it. And next, it should also be optional, right? Next one is overlay entry. Overlay entry, and the overlay entry should also be optional. It's not required, so it should be required. It should be optional, and this should be called overlay entry. There you go. Let's see. Hopefully this works. Okay, let's see. Looks like just copy this again. We move it to in here until figure out how to actually make it custom. My head is now thinking of something better right now, so actually I'll move it inside this view, settings view, right in here. And then bring in the overlay entry and overlay state in there. Go. I think that should fix the issues right in here. Is there any other stuff? Okay. said this needs an intro key and other stuff. Looks like we need to go ahead and create it. So let's say intro view should be from let's see what else we need. I need the keys that we currently have right here at the top, so we need to move that also. Move this. Move that in here. Okay, I think the whole errors is fixed. We don't have any issues at the moment. So let's take a look. Make sure we don't. Okay, widget.close. We need to pass a function called widget.close. Final void callback, which should be named as widget.close. I think that's the thing we need, yeah. And then pass that in here. Save this. Try to use this settings view inside settings screens, because that's the place we want to use it. And this is missing a function. It's telling us on close. And settings view.close needs a widget. There you go. Okay, I think we're actually coming close to the refactoring that we're doing. Yeah. Any other stuff that we're missing? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and give this a try. So settings screen, we have a function. The settings screen is being added right in here. We're using it somewhere right in here. Yeah. And there you go. If you tap on any of these, this goes, tap, completes. Okay, that's the functionality you're looking for. Yeah, it still works. After the refactoring, the code base, the whole stuff still works the same. We aren't having any issues. Yeah, that's cool. Let's see what else we are missing. So we refactor this to this point. Now I found our main home page actually looking good, and it's quite small to what we need. Let's see if there's any other code that we don't need. Just remove all of them out, move every single thing out. So say need this one to be in here. Okay, remove some comments, code that we don't need. Remove this. We don't need this. Just delete that. We don't need the button index. So basically remove those ones. I think we are good to go for the home front end. I think that's cool at the moment. We can just leave it this point, save this, and then head over to the setting screen. Let's see if there's something we need to remove and move out. I think the settings screen is good with me. Then settings view, then just go to settings view, look at things we can actually move out. Say intro key down. Okay, let's see what can we move out. I think these ones are okay. There's no code repeated code here that we need to be constructed or we want to reuse in other places. I don't think there's any other stuff we want to reuse, except once we get one, then we can just move it out from here and make it reusable. And for this section, just delete all these comments that we don't need. We don't need all these comments right there. Just trying to make the whole code base screen. That's what we're trying to do right for the first part of this stream. So just try to get the whole code base screen and better to use. So let's see, debug print mounted. I don't need the debug print anymore. Inside here I could just remove the debug print. Okay, yeah, I think we are good. We are good. So go ahead and save that. And that's how to do a refactoring of your code base and moving things around to be reusable within your code base. And you can actually get the whole stuff being on its own. And then if you want to reuse the whole stuff, you can just reuse it everywhere in the app. Sidebar, have a separate file, a separate widgets, main view the same, right in here. And what else? And then our main file, our main page, home page, is still quite there. Let's see if there's something we can actually fix within our main home page. I think one of the stuff we can fix in here and change is basically the fact that we have this stuff at the top that says team events. So we can just create a class, a file that where we have custom intents. So that should be maybe inside our utils folder that we created, the utils folder that we created. Yeah, inside the utils folder, I'm going to create something called custom underscore events. Oh no, custom underscore intents in intents dot that. Yeah, paste this. Oh, we made a mistake in the spelling, so the code highlight is not showing up because we spelled this wrong. So this should be that. Now the code highlight is fixed, so we need to import this from material widget and go ahead and save that. Now in the home page, we need to pour that into the home page also, main screen, because it's going to have an error telling us that it doesn't recognize where this is coming from, the team intent. So let's go ahead and import the team intent that we just made reusable at the moment. We moved it out, so we imported it, that is still working. And next, let's see if there's something else. We can actually move out the function, this function that has been called change team. We can move it out, or we can just leave it here at the moment. I think let's move it out, move it in here and create a file called custom helpers. We just call that helpers. Yeah, helpers is basically our functions, custom functions we need to do one or two things. So this helper shouldn't be private. Remove the private. Import team block. That should be from blocks. This also should be from team, and then the context that is being required. Okay, modest. So the context that has been required, we need to pass it in here somehow. So this is how to pass it in. I could say this, comma, then name the widget called build context, then passing type context. It should be required. So yeah, it should be required whenever the function is being called. If we save that, it's going to throw an error in our main screen telling us that something is not known, or it couldn't recognize where this is being kept. So just call that change team, put that from utils, passing an intent and passing a context, which is basically our current context. Also, I think that is the end, except at this point we still need to move this all out, but I'm just leaving it there for testing some stuff out also. Yeah, at this point our app is cool, is good to go with. So let's go ahead and restart our app and test some stuff. So Control D dark mode, Control L white mode, Control B black mode, Control L white mode, Control A auto, and Control L white mode. Okay, those are still working, everything is still working. Same with this, and same with all this stuff. Yeah, they're cool. Now we need to move over to the next stuff that we have to do today. So right now we did the breaking down to smaller widgets, which we just completed. Right now we just break the widget down to smaller widgets, and yeah, most of them are now reusable. So the next stuff we are going to do today, just go ahead and we did the factor code base, we did that too, create a to-dos. So let's start creating to-dos in our app. So right now, if you go ahead and we currently have a dummy to-dos. If you guys already know from our last stream, we created a dummy to-do somewhere within our repository. So inside our repository should be inside our local repository, the web client. Inside our web client repository, we are just making a fake call, a fake API call, and kind of like adding a dummy to-do in there. So we are going to return all these dummy to-do that we have here and display something within our screen. Yeah, or we could actually show some tests that say, okay, loading to dos, or create an animation, a loading animation, or anything that we want to actually add there that shows the user, okay, something is happening, we are loading your to dos, give us a moment for it to load. But for now, let's go ahead and display the to dos without showing anything. Then we can just work on telling the user something is going on within the screen. I think you guys have been waiting for this path. For now, inside our home screen, right in here, whereby we're using this to-dos builder, but we need to do this inside. It should be done inside the main view. So main view should be the one that should be receiving that call, receiving to-dos and displaying to-dos. And inside the main view, right in here, and I'm gonna say, yeah, main view, we got this. And inside the main view should have a child property. For now it should be a list view, list view dot builder, yeah, the builder function. There you go. Return, basically this one is going to return a test. For now we don't have anything in a test, so if you run this code, it's not going to run because there's nothing there for it to return. That is going to run at the moment. So we need to return something. To return something, we need to be able to get some stuff from our block state management library. So I'm going to wrap this with a block builder, and I'm going to bring this closer to the home screen. Nope. Yeah, and this, and also with main screen side by side. So because we need some stuff from here, I'm going to copy this builder. Here's our block builder, and I'm going to use it in here. Now this builder, change this to the builder that I just copied, and go ahead and import this flutter block, import to-dos block from blocks, and again they should have something called state that's fixed, and we're going to say if so we need the if statement. If state is to-dos loading, if state is to-dos loading, return a test that tells the user that the to-dos are currently loading. I'm gonna use that right here. I'm gonna say loading or to-dos, and this test, I have to make this to be constant. Else, if the whole to-dos have been loaded, list view builder should have something called item extents, item counts. So item counts should be let's see, yeah, item counts. Inside the item counts should be state is to-dos loaded, let's see. Okay, yeah, I think this is the perfect place to do this. This view builder just returns one stuff, and then this one will be returned based on the to-do states. I'm gonna use the if statement right in here. So we're gonna say state is to-dos loading, return something else, return what I just copied out, and this doesn't have to do any other stuff, basically return test. This one is going to say to-dos, yeah, and else let's basically go ahead and return directory what we need. else if state is to-dos loaded, then go ahead and return this to the user, and this will be state dot state else if else if state is to do loading, so go ahead and return loading to dos. Else if state is to dos loaded, return container, then passing say we have say to dos is equals to state to dos dot to dos dot length. That should be item counts. Then with that, go ahead and return to dos dot add index, add this index dot note, or basically dot task. Okay, saying this is an SSS string interpolation because we're not concatenating different strings. That makes sense, so just passively pass it directory. So go ahead and save this and restart our app. Builder context, else, so if nothing has been returned, so just say else return test that says no to dos. Close that and make this to be a const. Basically, first of all, restart this. See loading to dos, and once the to dos are loaded, so you can actually see the to dos that we currently have showing up in our app at the top. So let's get to work and start refactoring our code, getting everything to work as it should be working. Currently, right now, this is what our to dos are looking like. Now let's get this. So what we need to do is to kind of have this centered. If you take a look at what we have right here, what we have right here, it should be centered at this position, somewhere around this line. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say container that's been returned right in here should be centered. First, let's start with the loading test. Loading test should be centered. So the loading test should be centered because right now we currently have some dummy to-dos that are not centered, so we need to get the dummy to-dos to be centered, and then the loading test should also be centered. And let's say, yeah, centered. This also should be centered. If there's no to-dos, it should tell us there's no to-dos. Centered. Go ahead and center this. Control S to save. Comma. Save this. If you go ahead and restart the app, yeah, you should see loading all to-dos. Once everything is loaded, it goes away. Next is basically go ahead and say wrap this one also. We want that to be centered, and this is our container. This container, we're going to say alignment should be alignment geometry dot center. Alignment dot center. Okay, but that's not centering the children. So let's see. Okay, so right now we're trying to center the to-dos, but it's not centering. With the alignment property we added, we can actually wrap this with center widget. Try that on it. Still not centering. Let's try the center widget on the side. Because I don't want to center the to-dos individually. That's not what we want to do right in here. Okay, I think I figured out a better way to do this. I could actually say wrap this with a column. Save this. Now we have an issue. Across as this alignment, the center. Okay, not really what we are getting towards to. Since we can use alignment on it directly, I think we actually use padding and margin on this to work. Yeah. Or we can actually use transform on it, but let's try normal align widgets on this, then alignment using alignment dot center. Okay, so let's use the margin I talked about. So I'll just say margin, no, padding, not margin. So use padding on this. I will just say padding between both sides, padding dots only, just left. So saying left, you just say padding dot symmetric. Padding dot symmetric, horizontal should be 30. Make this to be constant, and then vertical should be 80.0. Save that, and there you go. You can actually have this position where the way we want. But in our own case, we want this to be kind of like positioned in the middle like this. So from here to here, from here to here. To achieve that, with the padding that we are using, we can actually say should use media query and of context dot size dot width, multiply that by 0.3. Okay, that's too much. 0.1. I think that's much better. And do the same for the vertical. So I think vertical for now should be that space is okay for vertical. And once we have that, let's start creating the way our list should look like. Our to-do list should basically look same like what we have here. This should container, a container that has a button right there, and a text and a date, and then the icon be at the end of it. So let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, since we are passing a text right now to display this, I will wrap that text with a container. Let's see. Yeah, this container requires a width and a height. We don't need to give it a height, and we can say the width should be the same as the parent, so we don't need to give it a height, but the width should be media query dot of context dot size dot width as the parent's width. And then next stuff we need to do is to work on decoration, and we are going to use box decoration. Inside the decoration, we're going to have color. The color should be white, right? But that kind of like the color will change depending on the theme that has been selected. So theme dot of context dot scaffold. We should use the scaffold color, and then we should have the border reduce first. I will say border reduce dot circular should be 10.0, and after the border radius should have, no, it doesn't have border, no need of adding a border to it, only border radius that is being needed. And if you go ahead and save this right away, I could actually see what we got. See, there we go, and that doesn't look good so far. So let's go ahead and style every single thing all together. First of all, you should have a margin, like bottom margin, like around 10 or 20. So let's say add the margin edge insect dot only bottom, that should be 20.0 const. Go ahead and save that. Yeah, but that's too much. So since that's too much, that's too much, just keep that as 10. 10 is still much, so we can just give it at 8. So I think we can actually leave it this way at the moment. That's much better. And then we need to add a padding within the box itself. So I have a padding edge insect dot only. For now, we need a padding on the vertical axis and on the horizontal axis. So I will say the symmetric horizontal should be 10.0. Yeah, and then vertical should be 10.0. There we go. If you go ahead and save this, now this is what our to-do list is looking like, almost to what we have here. So this is what we are trying to achieve from this. So okay, we need to add more padding to it. So let's increase the padding. I'll say 15 by 15. Yeah, there we go. I think this is much better. We could just take this, nice one. Once we have that, let's see what else we have within the design for the to-dos we are adding. So the to-dos has a shake box right here that shows and goes up when the user shakes on it, and also these icons at the end and other stuff. So let's go ahead and add this icon first, the shake box icon. So every single thing within here should be inside the row. Since this is inside the row, should have children test, and within it we should have a container. We are going to modify this container to look like an icon. So I'm going to say the width should be 30. I'll just leave it at 20.0. Height, leave it at 20.0. Color, leave it at colors dots amber. For now, let's test this and see what this look like. And there you go, that's looking good compared to what we have. Okay, it should be rounded, so more rounded. Just add decoration to it, so we're getting somewhere. So I can just add box decoration. I think I'll just put this side by side so we can actually see what we're doing and how that is looking at the moment. Yeah, there you go. We still need to fix this error we noticed right here. So if you're bringing this together, I can actually see the error right in here, so we need to fix that also. So let's leave this at this point so I can able to visualize it much better and fix all this stuff. This one, we need to minimize this a bit. Then put this close by here. So let's take it, let's start working. So I'm gonna say decoration, say box border reduce, border reduce the circular, comma. Next, so we have border reduce or circular. We need border reduce theme color. So we need to move the color out of here and move it in here. There you go. Go ahead and save this. Then you can see this is almost fully rounded. We don't need it to be fully rounded, so let's say 5 pixels, 6. Yeah, I think that's much better. Just say 7. Yeah, I think that's much better. And this should be starting from here. Likewise, what we have right in there. And this test almost the height of it. Okay, let's reduce this a bit. I would say sort of say 18 by 18. Save that. Yeah, there we go. And next is to work on this test. Yeah, the test should be somewhere position in there. Okay, so first of all, there should be a spacing between this and the test, and the space should be coming in here, and that should be margin. And I will use edge insects, but only then target the right part, and then say that should be 10.0, and it should be constant. Go, see that being applied, but that's too much, so let's reduce it a bit. So let's say 6. Yeah, I think 6 is much better. And next I could say, yep, there we go, that's cool. So we have these, that the color needs to be changed, so the color should be coming from our custom color, which we have inside a core. It should be mostly found in the theme section, because I'm looking for one specific color. There's a specific color that I'm looking for. I need to add that as our custom color. Static const. Oh shit. Static const. Color K gray color is equals to this. Go ahead and save that, and then we use our branded colors in there. Custom. First of all, import this. That's custom gray color. Save that, and there you go. You can actually see that same color. Everything is taking shape. And next, we need to add these 2 icons at the end right there. So we can actually go ahead and say, okay, right now we have this showing up. You can add another test for this, should be the same as this we have right in here. This is a container that has a shard. The shard is basically a test. In our own case, that's the date. Yeah. So let's go ahead and fix this. This should also have a decoration. Box decoration. Since we got box decoration, what else are we missing right in here? Okay, let's start with the border radius stuff. Just copy the same stuff with a comma, then go with color. Color is still the same color that we have somewhere here. Copy the same, paste it right in here, and then we have the width. We don't need the width. What I need is the padding. Edge insects done only, and then we could actually say use the padding this way, symmetric. Horizontal, let's say, is around 5.0. Vertical is around 5.0, and then this should have a const within it. Likewise, what are we missing? Oh no. Okay, so we demand discussing the issue. So if you save that, actually find that being added here, but that's too much. So you should say 10 mesh. To minimize that, I'm gonna hard code the stuff right now, but we're going to get that from our to-dos. Right now our to-dos doesn't have that, so you should say 10 mesh like that. Save that. So that's what it should look like. The size should be small. Yeah. Okay. Style. We're gonna use test style. Font size. Say that 6.0. And there we go. Then this horizontal, you could say the horizontal should be 4, vertical should be 4. Save that. Then this should be around 5. Then should be around 10. Yeah, I think that's much better at the moment. Yeah, that's better. And yeah, push that to the end. To push that to the end, I'm going to basically use a spacer right in there. Now push this to the end at that point. Now we need to be able to add icons or colors depending on what the to-dos have. So icons or colors should be added right in there. So let's go ahead and do that. That's after this. Should have another one for now. It should be icon hard coded. So I'm gonna say test. Not in here, should be somewhere inside a core folder. Yeah, dummy data. Yeah, right inside dummy data. Just copy this, then use that. Paste that right in here. That should be constant. Save that. And you have the test showing up here. Next is to actually be able to get the test, give this a space, using margin, say edge insects dot only left, 8.0 constant now this should be saying right. Yeah, so I have that spacing, a bit of a spacing between this and that. Okay, I think that's good. Let's take a look and see if we are missing any stuff so far. I think we're good to go. Now we have this, buy food for that kitty. See that, find, okay, sip margarita, have those icons, 10th of March, those stuff showing up. Next is basically a way for us to be able to add to-dos to our to-dos list, and that's what we are going to go ahead and do right away right now. Should have another bar at the top, test editing bar for adding to-dos, should be somewhere at the top right there. So let's go ahead and add our text editing bar at the top for editing our to-dos. But before we do that, inside our to-dos so far, we said that to-dos should look like something in this form. Is a container. Okay, but we need to make this to be reusable. So I'm going to move this container away into a different file. Right inside that widget, custom to that custom, call this like to-dos, or basically say custom underscore to-dos dot that, return a stateful widget, STF stateful widget, known as custom to-dos, which basically returns this for us, and delete this and return material widget. There you go. Return a color. Go ahead and save this, and then you can just use the custom to-dos that we just created anywhere we want to use to-dos, call to-dos in our app. That's much better, so that this could become a reusable code. And if you want to change to-dos, we can just change it somewhere, one place. Oh no, we made a mistake, because right now custom to-dos has this, but it doesn't know what this is all about. So I'm gonna say something like final. It should have string to do, call this title, and that should basically what we should have in here. So I should say title, and now go ahead and save this. It's been required in here. Oh no, we didn't finish it, so we need to add it to the constructor. So add it to the constructor so I can be able to use it, and that fixed the error for this path. So the next one, this will throw an error. We need to add a title right in here, and that's basically this code, and this shouldn't be constant. Go ahead and save this. Now our issue is fixed. We are still seeing the to-dos. We can still see our to-dos listed on the screen, so there's not issue at the moment. So let's just take a look at what else we need to do. We need to add a way. We need to find a way to be adding to-dos. So we need to add our text editing right at the top, text editing box at the top that looks like this, so this should be the same. So already concluded this is looking like this, same stuff that we have here, same stuff right there. So now we need to add this text editing at the top, so let's go ahead and add that. That should be inside our main view. No, yeah, it should be inside our main view. So it's our main view. So we have a column, okay, that hasn't expanded, please, and next one at the top should be a text editing field, text field, like that. Let's see what we need to add. If you go ahead and save this, yeah, there you go. You can see the text field at the top. Yeah, you can just type stuff inside it, but it's not quite looking the way we want it to look like, so we need to style it up to actually look like this stuff right here. Should be input decoration. Okay, yeah, let's try it out. Text input decoration, border, okay, we need to add a color constant at the back, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, this border is actually an input border type. Yeah, I think we got it wrong somewhere right there. Forgotten. Let's try and remember from one of my code base right in here. Should be border. Okay. Okay, let's see. Floating label test. We don't need a label test. We also don't need a label style. Hint test should be saying something right. It should be saying something right. A new task. So if you go ahead and save this, yeah, there we go. But we need a border around it. So at the border radius .28. This should add a random border. Come on. Outline border. Outline rounded input border. I think I'm missing something. I definitely know I'm missing something. Outline should be rounded. Input border. Okay, let's try this again, but I don't know. Looks like because I'm missing the field property. Okay, okay, I see. this border right here, we shouldn't be seeing the blue border, so we need to turn this off. Already set the border dot none to it, but we're still seeing that. Okay, so that goes out. That's due to because we have enabled input border and focused input border, so I have to turn them to none for that to be fixed. And then we can just go back to our field true and field color. Now we need both of them. They're back online, and then we can just reduce this from 28. So I want this to be rounded a bit, but not up to 28, so we could just say 12, 12, 12. I think that's it, so go ahead and save that. We have the 12, 12, 12 all around it. Let's see what else we can actually do. We can actually round it more. I think it's much better right now. And then the hint test style. Add font size. It says 12.0. 40.0. I think that's much better. Then we have a padding within it, so you can add a padding to our text field. Content padding. I could just say edge instance dot only left. There should be 13.0 and it should be const. Okay, yeah, let's take a look side by side. Okay, that's where we go. We got that looking good, except that it should say write a new task. That should be what should be there. Okay, we have write a new task written there, which is matching what we have right in here also. Next stuff we could actually do is to be able to see how we can actually write a new task and then hit the enter key and then have this added inside as part of our task that we have right in here. So let's see if we can actually get that to work. So let's say we currently have this right there at the moment. let's go. Okay, the user taps on this and says going out to swim, and that's the task. When they and hit the enter key, this should actually add a task in here and clear this input test. So let's see if that works. So we currently have this at the moment, and when the user taps on this input that we currently have here, which is inside our main view, so unchanged, unfilled, submitted, unsaved. So unfilled submitted means the user tapped on the enter key. That's basically saying unfilled submitted. We just add that and test that out. This should have an input called a value, and then we can decide to print that out here to test it. Debug print. There you go. And if you save this, and let's take this for a test drive and try to test this out. So let's say we tapped on this. You see that shows in here going to swim because the user tapped on the enter key. What we want to do is that when the user taps on that, we want to be able to add that to our to-dos also. We're going to save right in here. So from our main screen, let's borrow some code. Yeah, I should see the code somewhere at the top. Where is it? They should be coming from. Okay, let's go back in here and try this. Come on, not sidebar, not the sidebar, not the sidebar. Wait. Okay, I think this is basically what I'm looking for. Something like this. Okay, so I think we should do that with the context. Let's see if we can access that from the context. Context dot. Okay, let's add a to do. So once we do that, we are going to add say to do, add a to do that need a task and also a note to it. Let's say task is going to be go get stuff, and then we have notes doing today. We're going to actually be able to do this dynamic, but right now we just had coding it right in there. Let's see where this error is coming from. So if you tap on this, the add event is going to be called, but let's see. Okay, yeah, that's basically what we expect. Yeah, so let's go back to our to-do block. This is our to-do blocks right here. Right in here. So when there's an event for on add to do, go ahead and call this function right in here. Yeah, basically once we tap on that, we should be able to emit some events. And in here, this should be our event. Basically the to-do's event, and this should be to-do state. Yeah, so that's fixed. So whenever there's an on add to do events, and this will be stuff that we add will be done, and then we emit this another event, which is basically to do's loaded update with a new updated to do's list of to do's. And then if we want to save this to the back end or to the cloud, we can actually call this function there or save it in a local DB. For now, we just want to be do this manually at the moment. So let's test stuff out before we progress to any other side. So if I hit the enter key, now we still have an issue. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's working. So because we didn't refresh the app, so that's why we're having the issues before. So go ahead and restart this again. So it's telling us loading to do's. Once it's loaded, you can actually see that. So over here, you just tap. It will just add our dummy to do at the moment, but that's not what we want to do. So we can actually fix this. We want to add it to do dynamically, so what we could just do that do is basically get hold of what is being imputed here by the user, and then if they want to add a note, we can actually have a way for them to add a note, but for now we just allow them to just add it to do, and later we can, if they want to add a more note to it, they can just tap in here, go to the details page, and be able to add a more note to that particular to do. Let's pass the both value in there, and then go ahead and save this. You can actually test it out. You can actually see that this is working, and let's go ahead and test this. Let's say we want to say go to swim today, go to swim class, enter. You can actually see that it's been added immediately inside the to-dos, and everything is updated. And but we need to be able to clear this to do once we add a to-do in here, clear this out. For us to be able to do that, we have to ask what we call focus node, should be focus node. We could actually use form key, not focus node. Form key will work on that. So we can use input key right in here. So add the input key we just created. Now we could just say once this is actually verified that something is in there, but we don't want to call this when the user is not adding anything new. Maybe the input is empty, so you can actually say if value dot is not empty. That's the one we call this function. And once this function is called, then we could just say input key dot no need of making it static because we're not going to give it outside. actually okay, yeah, reset. That's what I'm looking for. Hope is on there. Yeah. So basically reset the form after the user have entered the to do. So go ahead and try this again. Enter. So this is not actually being called. What's happened? Okay guys, I just noted that the stream stopped. Looks like I'm going to stop here. I don't know why. Yeah, YouTube just suspended my stream. So looks like I'm gonna stop here, and we'll continue tomorrow because the stream has been suspended. Doesn't make any sense to keep on doing this, so I won't get account banned or something like that. So yeah. So guys, we'll be stopping here for today, and we'll just continue next time, which will be probably tomorrow. Hope so. Yeah, so guys, let me know what you think, and leave a comment on the YouTube, Twitch, and also on the social media platforms where we actually talks. Let me know what you think and what you want next to be added on the app, and yeah, and we continue from there. So have a nice day, everyone. Thanks.